Esports. It's in the game.
Okay, good evening everyone, and welcome along again to RPM Esports. It's time for Season 6. So we've already got some numbers in the chat, which is good, right on time, and I pushed it a little bit later this week, just to make sure I didn't have to backtrack myself at any point. So, Season 6, it's Round 1 of First Division, and we've got a lot of new, well, a few of the same driver lineups, but a few changes as well, which I'm going to run through as this lobby fills up behind me. So round 1 then, it's Australia tonight. Obviously we've got the new layout which we ran, I believe was Season 4 would have been, yeah, the Season 4 we ran this track at the start of this game, and we're back again for the 16 race calendar, the first round of the sort of, let's say the first stint of 6 races before we have a week off. So we've got 6 weeks ahead of us for the opening third of the championship, which will be entertaining with plenty of new tracks in there, with no Austria, no Australia, no Mexico last year, Monza and Abu Dhabi the same, so plenty of changes before that tough run in the final 4 races of Zandvoort, Baku, Hungary and Brazil. So a quick rundown of these teams then. You'll pick up on some of the changes. I haven't managed to note these down, so I'm going off memory. Jones joins the Aston Martin team. He's going to be racing with Goran Potner, who was with us there last season, so he stays where he is. We've got Matty and Leakey, one of the few teams staying together. Obviously, Matty won the... Sorry, yeah, I should mention Aston Martin coming off the back of their Constructors' Championship win, which came down to the wire in Imola a fortnight ago. And then these two guys, Matty, the title holder, the drivers' champion from Season 5, who got that tidied up also in Imola in what was quite an event, a hectic race. The Mercedes guys, Schmidt and Spivey, joined together to drive for Mercedes. We've got Riker and Callum. Now Callum was with Jones in Red Bull last season, so he holds on to his seat that he picked up halfway through last season, and Riker comes down to join him there. The McLaren team, the other team who have not changed anywhere, both the same drivers, Snell, Henk and Schnitzy. Number 91 and 73, part of my team, stay the same in First Division again for Season 6, so they'll have plenty of races together under the belt by the time we come to the final round in Brazil. More so than most of the other teams. Danos and Iver, a requested lineup. So Iver's got his move to Ferrari, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on tonight. Ferrari obviously coming off the back of the All-Tiers win, so there's a little bit of pressure there on these drivers to try and make that, I think, will it be 3 in a row? Season 4, 5 and then 6 if they can get the win again in the All-Tiers this season. Dino and Inorganic, a new change as well. I believe Dino was there with Tonchek in the championship last season, and Inorganic has moved from Williams in the first division. So some same but different at different points in that team, and it'll be good to see how these guys get on. Haven't seen them race together before. I don't think they've been on the same grid before, and now they're teammates. So a big dynamic change for the pair of them. Goey and Puggy, I think the same. Puggy was in, well, he moved to Premier Division toward the end of the season. And I think it was AlphaTauri that he was in at the first half of last season at least. So familiar territory for him as well. And then rounding us off, actually no, we're not rounding off. We have one more team. We've got Frax, the only driver, unfortunately, without a teammate. And that's just kind of due to unfortunate circumstances, I guess. 19 of the 20 drivers signed up. So one guy had to take the fall, and that ended up being Frax. And finally, the team who unfortunately finished last in the Constructors last season, Rodo and Phil teaming up together. So Rodo had the pace to be at the top end of Championship, so he'll be looking to compete. And Phil took a extended break, I think, at the end of last year, stopped racing. So let's see how long he can keep it on the road before, well, to kick off his season, yeah, to kick off all of his season. Now, I was going to highlight some of the challenges that we could expect, because I was looking at this as we were making the teams, and I feel like we've got Rodo. There was maybe 5 or 6 drivers. I mean, Dino did quite well last year. Danos the same. Riker's got the pace as well, and then obviously Matty and Goran Potner, who were at the top last season as well. So maybe 4, 5, 6 drivers who we've got to keep our eyes out for, and that is let alone not including the drivers who could come out of nowhere. You know, there's a few drivers who've maybe been there or thereabouts, particularly toward the end of last season, and the break hasn't been too long, so it shouldn't take too much for these guys to get it back in order, and you never know, they could improve. So let's hope no one runs away with it too early. Let's hope the pace is similar. We'll get a good gauge of that throughout qualifying, which is coming up. The lobby is about to get underway, so we will switch to that now, and I'm going to do a quick test on these constructor standings to see if we get the data. There's that one, great, and there's that one. Okay, cool. So there's a little bit of an incentive for the drivers. So far, I haven't figured out how to get more of the table on there. However, I have just had an idea. I hope it doesn't break it. Is it even worth fuck it, it's worth testing it, why not? Okay. A little bit more. Right, cool. There you go. Job's a good one. No drivers, that means we can go. Sorry about this, guys. But, you know, qualifying hasn't started yet, so we've got plenty of time to wait for that. It's not very intuitive, this thing, but there we go. That'll do. That'll do, donkey. And let's cover that instead of covering this information. Okay, cool. So that can disappear for the time being. Now, let's ride on board with some of these drivers. We want to preview like this and then do this. Now, I'm also going to be testing out the new session data feature, which has just appeared in front of me there. And let's get all of this stuff on the go and catch up with some drivers. Now, I'm going to just knock this up a little bit. Sorry about all of this. It's been a busy weekend being away, and I'll catch up with the chat soon. So we're underway in these two, already getting a little bit feisty. What on earth's going on there? Phil immediately halfway around the track sort of barging the AlphaTauri out of the way. Now, who was that? How odd. I'm going to ride on board with this one then. We've got the 2 HAAS drivers. making their way around. And we'll ride on board and see how they get along. This is still qualifying, boys. You need a gap. Right, I've just come back and I've seen someone facing the wrong way. It's Goran Potner who's lost it coming out of the final corner, and he's just going to have to wait. Rodo's coming out to start his lap now. He sees the yellow flags. Has he got it out the way? Yes, he has. And now, let's not waste any more time. Let's join on with one of the HAAS drivers. Who has dropped it? Matty, he's not out, is he? No, he's just in the wall. And he's left a gap and he can go again. So a little bit rusty here in the early stages for some of these drivers. But not for Leaky though. I think he's going to be the first driver round unless those Alfa Romeos. Never mind, he's hit track limits there. Dino comes into the pits. Inorganic is about to start his lap. Let's see, is this Jones coming around? No, he's also about to start his lap. All the drivers, well, sorry, not all the drivers, but some of the drivers there, making some mistakes early on. And now I'm a little bit short on what the order is. Well, we'll remember Jones. Snellhenk also not starting. So let's just ride with Jones then. On his first lap. Now, if you guys could indicate the sort of audio, please, that would be nice. The balance between me and the game, because I adjusted it over the week, but didn't get a chance to test it, which isn't ideal. So let me know. Let me know if it's good or if you need more game. I feel like you might need a bit more game, especially when I'm off board. So I can adjust that if need so. Anyway, sorry, the first few laps are flying in. Danos takes the first time and he sets an 18.6. The only driver in the 18s to begin with. That's a big margin from him. Rodo close in behind though. Phew, bless me. 6/10 off of P1. Callum very close, 2/1000th of a second behind Rodo. So the initial laps looking very, very tight. Another 2/10 down to Riker. Phil nearly a second behind the top four's pace, so he's got a big improvement if he wants to get on the front two rows. As someone's just jumped ahead. Was that Inorganic? Who's just stepped up and set a 1:20.7. All the drivers slowly coming in now. Let's watch with Snellhenk as he heads around the final few corners. And that puts him up into P5. Little more game. Well, I can assure you, Rusty, the game audio is not off. Might just be your ears, mate, but I'll turn you up nonetheless. Right, we'll try this now. Again, let me know. Okay, yeah, that's okay. That's a good way of putting it, Wardy. That's fine. If he's around max, then I'll bring myself up so you can bring me down and you have a bit more choice. So I want to go down slightly. Alright, we'll mess on with that. And let's just see how that goes. Okay, back in the qualifying mode then. Frack's the only driver yet to set a time, and he's just set off on his lap, I believe. He's got a hell of a lot of ERS. Let's ride on board and see where he puts himself. Danos still leads. We've got an issue in Sector 1, just a car getting by. Frax comes around to set A. Okay, never mind, that was his outlap. He was just using ERS at the start, and I looked away and got all out of shape. So the forecast for the session, brought to you by Smith's Amazing Task System, is clear weather all around, so far at least. And unfortunately, I'm not sure if the so the damage and tyre data, maybe that doesn't work in qualifying. We'll soon see if it works in the main race. And I'm going to just stick the game up one more notch, I think, just to be on the safe side. Right then, here he goes. So Rodo is away for his flying lap, and I'm just going to listen to this audio again, so I'll let you guys watch on as he looks to take pole position. He's not too far away, just needs 6/10 in the meantime. Matty has also put a good time in, 4/10 off pole position. Okay, all sounds good to me, at least for now, so if anyone's got any burning questions, you can just let me know and I'll try and change it. But, is he improving? We're about to cross the Sector 2 line. We'll soon find out. Yeah, oh no. He's made a mistake early on, which I've missed, so he's going to back out and go again. Callum coming around now. He looks to be flying. He's just as far off Rodo, and that's Callum out. That's Callum out. He maybe clipped the left-hand side of maybe on the grass. And that's the first, well, the first on-track retiree of the session. And that time will be beaten. It looks as though he could potentially drop all the way down to 11th. At best, really. I feel like all the drivers in behind are likely to find more time than that. Phil's finishing off his lap, and then we've got who's this? Is it Jones coming around? He's on his out lap. Phil's recharging his battery because he's had a mistake. Danos is flying, and he sets a purple sector 1. Wardy, all the rules are enabled. You can have everything in this division, so it's full assist tonight, apart from the normal ones that you would turn off, but traction, brake, line, even gears, I believe. I'm not sure, maybe everyone's on manual gears at least, I'm not sure, but let's see how much he improves. I've missed the sector lines, looking down at the chat. Let's keep an eye on. Oh, he's gone wide. Has he invalidated? Yes, he has. What an obscure place to invalidate. He's gone very deep there. And if he'd thought about it, he could have dived back into the pits. Possibly. Ever so possibly. I'll have to see it again. But it's an odd place to fail the lap there. It's no Hank into the pits. Ivor has just set his time, and it's 1.3 seconds quicker, so that moves up into 11th for the Ferrari driver. Danos still with pole position, and there he is, letting his teammate by off track, even though he's on a cooldown lap, which is good to see nonetheless. And is Leaky on a lap? It looks like he is. This guy did well last season, so he'll be wanting to get himself at least in the top 8, you'd like to think, maybe. Let's see how his pace is as he crosses the Sector 1 line. That's where Callum dropped the ball earlier. He's 420 up. Legendary. Absolutely legendary. And we've already got 21 guys in chat, which is great to see before the race has even started. So that's last season's benchmark hit more or less straight away. So that's all good from you guys. I appreciate that. And Leaky then comes around the final few corners. Let's see what he can do. He's kept that nice and tight. He hasn't taken too much track, which may be beneficial. He gets his foot to the floor and heads to the line. Where is he going to put it? He needs half a second, and he's got it. He's up by 7/10, and that puts himself into P9, just a tenth or two shy of the top 8. So he'll be looking to find that improvement. Matty has come back in the meantime and blown Danos' time out the water by 2 seconds, so he takes provisional pole position, and I'm not sure if Matty's going to have time to get round and go again. So that might be on Rodo, who is also flying. Let's follow on with him. We've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Is it a car going slowly, or is it Jones or a Goran partner waiting to let someone by? I believe it is. The McLaren's been let through. Managed to keep it valid there, took a lot of curb on the right hand side, and he's backed out. Is this a little bit of fun and games between the HAAS and the or is Leaky also coming in? I think Leaky's also going to box, isn't he not? Did he get in his way there? Did I miss it? I'm not sure. Oh, something hits the wall as he let, I believe, is that Jones through? No, that was Goran Potney, that Goran Potney through. So, we've had a Ferrari just start his lap. Was that Danos? Danos is going again with hardly any ERS. We're quite interested to see. That won't finish the lap, so I'm not going to ride on board with that. But Jones, he has looked to improve. He's very far off the pace after only one lap, making a mistake early doors. So there should be big time improvements for Jones here. And Danos is retired. He's in the wall, so he probably should have boxed and chose to stay out. Maybe he knew he didn't have time, and he's on the race. Well, he's not on the racing line, but he's on the track there. Jones has to get out the way, but he's 1.1 seconds up with the track evolving as cars drive round it. All that time that he missed earlier on can be found in this final flying lap. In his first race for Aston Martin, I believe, well, this season at least. Let's see how high he can put it. As it stands, he'll have enough for at least 13th. But we'll see how much time he gains in this final sector. It will probably be significant. He's taking a lot of speed through there, as long as he doesn't mess this up, which he hasn't. He's got it tucked in nice and tight. And he opens the rear wing. And he heads towards the line. Jones puts himself into the top 5. A 3.2 second improvement after his first lap mistake. Great effort there by Jones in the Aston Martin. He joins Goran Potner in the top 5. The Aston Martin team looking strong early doors. And is that Rodo who's just put that time in? Yes, it is. Rodo punches in a 1:18.7. 3/10 of pole position. And is this his teammate in behind? Yes, it is. He lets him by. So keeping it a high gear there. Keeping the stability. Using a lot of track, which is good to see. He's kept it on the road. Pushing the limits, he may as well. He's got nothing else to lose. And let's keep an eye on that sector 2 time. He needs at least, if he can get over half a second, he'll move all the way up to P8. If he can get anywhere near a second, then happy days. He's only 3.5 tenths up. That may be good enough for anywhere between 8th and 10th. I'm not sure. It's very tight in that area there in the midfield. Only a matter of hundredths between Smith and Dino. So Matty holds on to pole position. I believe Rodo's done as well. Goran Potter's in the pits, that's done. So just down to these final few drivers coming around the corner now. Phil, foot to the floor. He moves himself up to P6. Great lap in the end, 6/10 up. We had the Mercedes crossing the line, I believe, there. Smith. Did he cross the line in time, or has he just improved? I think he's just improved by 1.8 seconds, so he moves up into P9, or is he still lapping? I'm not entirely sure. I think that's... He might have crossed the line just in time. We're right on board. We've got two HAAS drivers also coming around. Is this Matty on another lap? Surely not. Matty is on another lap. Pole position is all but ready secured. And Matty's going on another lap, as is Leaky. So these are the three drivers looking to improve. Schmidt is nearly 3/10 up before the Sector 2 line. Going through the high-speed chicane, taking the curb, opening DRS. And he could also get himself into the top 5. Jones has been knocked down to P8 as the new laps have come in. Matty has DNF, pushing the limits too far through the left-right chicane. He's lost it. And Leaky has stopped there as well. The driver dives out the way. I didn't see who that was. It was an Alpha Tauri. Lots of drivers in the wall here. 5 in total, 6 retirements. And Smith improves by nearly half a second, puts himself in P6. Then we've got Leaky, who's coming around as well. And Frax is finished. And that's okay, Leaky is also finished. So I believe that is it. That is the grid set then for the opening round in Melbourne. Matty takes pole position with a 1:18.411. Riker close behind, only just shy of 2/10 off with a 1:18.5, and then from there it gets very, very tight. 6:7.77. So 4 drivers within a 10th and a half there from Danos to Smith, and that's the top 6 I was talking about. Those competitive drivers up there. It's anyone's game really. I think over the race distance, a lot of them will have similar pace. And then we have the front of the midfield led by Phil, and it's again another very tight margin between the drivers from, let's say, 8th or 9th all the way down to 13, 14, 15, something like that. Yeah, let's review from there. So Phil from 7th, only 3 and then half a second separating 7th to 11th, which is pretty insane as well. So the top 10 nicely competitive for what should be a good race around Australia with plenty of overtaking zones. Right, let's have a think about that then. Overtaking zones around here. I think we've got turn 1, the bottom of turn 3. You could chuck one in at turn 9 if you're brave enough before the chicane, and then 11 and 12 as well. So at least 5 or 6 potential overtaking areas there, which will be very, very exciting going into this first round. Now, I'm going to hope that all this task works, because if it does, it'll be good. So I'm going to see if it refreshes on its own, or if I need to refresh it in the browser. We'll soon see. Well, let's have a catch up with chat. I've been preoccupied. There's a hell of a lot of messages come through. Good evening to everyone who said it. A couple of you guys, yeah. Good evening to everyone. 23 guys in here now. Can we get 25? I feel like it's possible, you know? We haven't even... There's 25. I mean, speak. There it is. Okay, 30. Bingo. 30. The race hasn't even started yet. Get everyone in so they can watch the lap 1 action. You know, the best part. Let's try and get 30. Right, so audio's looking good, which is good. Ivor's chilling, absolutely. Thoughts on the footy? It's Entity 1, Nil Jones. Nice. Nice. Jones, unfortunately, didn't keep that top 5 place that he got himself at the end of his flying laps. Right. Ahoy! The thing just updated. This is class. Right, okay. Safety car status is formation lap. Yes. Now, does the damage info work? Oh, haha. Select. Oh, this is class. Right. So, let's take a look at Matty to begin with. Yeah, this is good. This is good. Okay. I'm just not going to try and get too distracted by this stuff. Let's have a look at the tyres then. The majority of the grid on mediums. That would be the preferred strategy. Phil knows that he's at the front of that midfield pack, so he'll look to go long. Pretty smart strategy from him, I would say there. He probably knows he doesn't quite have the pace in the top 6, but he's proved in qualifying that he is as quick as anybody else in the midfield, so he's going to go long and hope for a safety car around his pit window. The only other driver on an alternate strategy is Callum in P10 on the soft, so he'll look to get ahead, and if he can get a good start, he could find himself in P6 or P7 at least in the first couple of corners. If he can catch in Organic and Jones off the line and then use Phil's disadvantage on the hards to his advantage, could get himself in a good position. The rest of the drivers there swapping between the two strategies as you would expect. A nightmare, sorry, not as you would expect, I was going to say the back markers there of Goey and Puggy on the hard tyres as you would expect, but a nightmare for AlphaTauri starting P17 and P18, and the opening round is not the kind of confidence you want. Obviously Puggy didn't qualify, but not ideal for Goey. Here we go then. Riker and Matty line themselves up on the grid. I know I'm not going to get a very good angle, so I'm going to ride on board, I think, with Phil, who's probably, well, he might not get the best start on those hards, but I'm in a good position, I think, to capture it. Let's see. The AlphaTauri is still bringing up the rear, nowhere near in position yet. All the while the guys up front get cooler tyres. A few disqualified, Dino and Goey. We have lights, and the race is about to get underway. We're not going to get the camera angle that we want, so we'll ride on board with Phil. It's lights out, and away we go. For the first time in Season 6 from Round 1 Melbourne, and Matty has already been taken by Riker. As they head into Turn 1, Riker leads, followed by Matty and Danos, who's taken to the grass. Side by side between Goran Pontner and Rodo as they head down towards Turn 3. Most drivers seem to have got through clearly. We've got a battle going on in the back between the McLaren and the Alfa Romeo, and the Alfa Romeo's taken to the inside. Danos leads, Rodo, then Goran Pontner and Smith. Callum's found himself up 3 places on those softs as we predicted, and Phil has dropped down 1 position into P8. All the drivers getting through the initial phase cleanly then. I've got no damage coming up on the task, so it seems like everyone has got through cleanly, which is great to see. Now we ride on board for some overtakes. We've got Dino closing in on Snellhenk. The McLaren has gained 2 positions, and Dino's looking to take it back, and is Snellhenk going to chuck it up the inside of his teammate? No, he's not. And Organic holds that position for the time being, but Snellhenk already on the attack. And he's going to look to put a move on him in the early phases. Through Sector 3 they go, and Snellhenk takes the position, but in Organic, no, he doesn't get a chance to look around the outside. Jones has taken Phil. Not a great start on those hard tyres, but he can go long and time it well with the safety car. There's no reason he can't regain those sort of, well, unnaturally, let's say. I'm not quite sure what the word would be there. So Riker crosses the line and leads us. He's already nearly a second ahead of Matty, who's had a poor start off the line. And we've got Goey and Inorganic, and Goey's out of the race. He picked up damage, full terminal front wing damage, and he finds himself in the wall. And we've got a VSC, and Frax having to dodge out the way of Puggy there. I just caught that in the corner of my eye. It hasn't been fully upgraded to a safety car yet, just a VSC. Oh my god, and Frax has dropped it. I look down and he's in the wall, so that might bring out the safety car, which it has. So the field neutralised after just 1 lap. It was all looking so good, and then something happened at the back between Goey and Inorganic has got a damaged front wing. Let's take a look. at inorganic. Not sure if this is... Okay, maybe this isn't quite... Oh no, yes, there it is. So he's got front right damage, minor, very minor front right damage. So Frax is out. There's a player who hasn't set his telemetry up. I'm gonna try and figure out who that is. Oh shit! I broke something. Let's have a look. Session data, damage. It's going to take a minute to try and figure out who this player driver is so we can fix that for next week. Phil's good, Frax is good, Ivor. Right, I believe that's Callum who hasn't set up his telemetry, so we'll get on that for next week. Let me just do that now before I forget. Okay, back to the action then. Right, so Callum and Dino have had their front wings repaired and they picked up some minor damage earlier on. Goey is out. Inorganic picked up a slight amount of damage but not enough to box, which is right. Very, very minor damage to Inorganic. It's just trying to get my head around all this, to be honest. Frax column repaired, Dino repaired, Goey out, and inorganic not enough. Yep, that sounds about right to me. Just in time as well. The safety car will be coming in at the end of this lap. He's still got to get through sector 2 and 3 first, though. And let's take a review of that order then. So Puggy finds himself up 5 places, the biggest gainer. Snellhenk with 4 positions gained up into P9. The biggest loser though, Callum and Dino having boxed. And let's just see what tyres they've opted for. So Callum's gone to the mediums after starting on the soft. So that soft run has come to an abrupt end. And he's at a disadvantage of himself now unless there's another safety car. But most drivers, well all drivers apart from those with damage, choosing to stay out. Ivor boxed as well and finds himself toward the back. It's over to Riker to get us away again. Thankfully the safety car gave us prompt warning that it was going to go in. And when's Riker going to go then? Matty is giving him absolutely no breathing space as they exit the final corner. He's gone. as you might expect. He played the dummy a little bit there. It looked like he may have just held it, but he's gone at the exit of the chicane. Danos a little bit of a gap. Similar gaps approaching. Rodo, the closest driver in the top 4. They've all gone a little bit wide there. I think he would have picked up something there. And that's right on board as they all head through. There's a McLaren getting past. Snellhenk has taken Phil at the early restart. Back down to P9 for Phil. Alfa Romeo looking close. He's gone into neutral. Wonder why the car wasn't moving forwards, because he went into neutral. And that's caught somebody out. Who's that? Phil finds himself last. Did that catch Phil out, or is that his own mistake? Phil on those hard tyres. Probably for the best now. He's got to go long. And he finds himself 7 seconds off the back of the pack. Snellhenk has taken Jones. And I saw there Dino and Callum going wheel to wheel as they head down towards the chicane. Which driver's going to blink first? Up the inside goes Dino, and he takes that position, and Callum has to concede. Slows up just slightly to not take too much curb. And that's Dino up a position into P13. Gaps approaching, appearing around the track, apart from at the back. And Puggy right up the back of the Mercedes. No DRS just yet. That'll be enabled next lap. Oh, and a slow exit there. And Puggy says thank you very much. Spivey's almost let him by. And he enables some ERS, and he's lost 2 positions there. Dino takes it up. A slight mistake has cost him dearly there. Spivey coming out of the final corner, now down into P13. Callum now takes Spivey. And he's got damage, surely. What's going on here? The telemetry says he's fine. But he's dropped all the way down from P11 to P15 in a matter of corners. And apparently Snellhenk has picked up some damage. End plate's still intact, so it can't be much. Let's take a look. He's picked up minor damage on the front right. But not enough to pit. Not enough to pit at all. Looking round then, we've got Puggy gaining on Leaky on those hard tyres, so the worst compound, but he finds himself chasing. Could have taken more curb on the left and the right there. He's playing it safe, Puggy. He doesn't want to risk losing the car, which is valid at this point. He's had a good start from the back of the grid. Up to P11 by lap 6. Gets on the grass there a little bit, but keeps it together. Riker setting the fastest lap of the race, a 22.3. He leads the championship, he leads the race. It's been a great start for Riker. Matty a 1.5 seconds behind. Danos there, also nearly outside of VRS. Now a big gap to Rodo, but Smith is slowly gaining on him ahead. Goran Potner still within DRS of the sitting duck. Rodo ahead without DRS. Still bags of VRS, Smith. He needs to get that used. He's got 100%. 2/10. Callum on Dino. Could be close as they head down the back straight. One more braking zone to go, and then it's flat out all the way through into the chicane. But he's got a poor exit there. He's going to have to use the remainder of his battery. He's nearly used it all since the safety car restart once again. Not going to be enough to get by at this instance. And he's on the medium tyre, and he's completely cut the chicane there. That'll be a warning. That's going to give him the overspeed to gain an advantage there. Questionable. Well, I guess he wants to run the risk of picking up the penalty. That's what he has to do. It looks very oversteery, that car. Every corner he takes, he seems like he's having to correct ever so slightly. And he runs a little bit wide. And there's action going on ahead. Dino is watching on in behind as Puggy looks to step out on Leaky. He doesn't. He stays where he is. And he'll look to take DRS down the next straight. Who's got the better exit? It's Puggy. And he opens the rear wing. Nothing Leaky can do about that. And he pulls back into the slipstream and accepts the position lost. Puggy having a great start of the race on those hard tyres. And now he's got some free air ahead of him to try and catch up to Inorganic, whose medium tyres will be running low eventually. And then Organic, as we just speak to him, picks up a 3-second time penalty. The first driver of the session. Phil's pitted to go onto the mediums. I'm not sure why. Has he picked up damage? He hasn't picked up damage. I would have liked to have seen him go longer on those hards, I think, to make the most of it. And who's that? Goran Potner in the wall. We've got to catch it on board. Where is he? There he is. He's dropped it on the exit and the safety car is out. And Phil, I mean, it might not be the worst thing, but that's exactly why you don't box on those hard tyres. Phil could have found himself in first there if he'd stayed out. He may still gain some positions. In fact, no, he won't, will he? Because he has to keep that delta time. So disastrous strategy call there by Phil. What could have put himself at the front of the grid on the medium tyres. Instead, he finds himself stuck last on now what will be a strategy which we'll surely see him box again. So disastrous there. And let's see, Puggy stays out and he inherits the lead of the race. So he's gone from last to first in 9 laps. Let's see how long he can hold on to that. This is the correct strategy call here. And now he follows in behind the safety car. Callum stays out as well. He'll have to box once more. So does Ivor and Dino. Everybody else picking up the same order. Riker, Matty, Danos and Rodo. And Phil's got a lot of catching up to do. Oh, Phil did have damage. My mistake. Phil did pick up damage earlier on, so that will be why he's boxed. Unfortunate timing then for him. Picked up damage in lap 5, and by lap 8 he went in. So he did spend a few laps out on track. So maybe it wasn't critical damage. Maybe he did decide to box into the safety car. Sorry, before the safety car. Nonetheless though, it's the second one of the opening phase, and that is now Goran Potner joining the DNFers in Frax and Goey. So the guy who did exceptionally well this time last season, managing to chase down the championship right until the end, could be gifting a race's worth of points to the opposition early doors. So we stay behind the safety car for one more lap. So then, as things stand, Riker will have net P1, and the 5 drivers ahead of him will look to hold out. And let me see how many of these guys boxed already. So theoretically, Ivor and Dino could stay out until the end of the race. Puggy hasn't pitted yet though, so he has one mandatory stop left to make. But realistically, Ivor is in prime position, and Dino of course, to battle it out at the start here and not have to box again. I'm sure, let me think, could they do that many laps? Be 18 laps minus the 7, could they do 11 laps maybe? Be a lot of laps to stay on the same set of tyres. You'd be talking something like 25 laps. Safety car should be in. Might be a late call this time though. Not that late, but later than it should have been. Safety car is in this lap, so the field have to bunch, and Puggy will be responsible for this one. The man who doesn't like to qualify finds himself leading the pack as the safety car re-enters the pit lane. We'll have 19 laps to go after they cross the line. And Callum will be all over this on those mediums. He's got to make the stint work. He's got to get past Puggy as soon as he can, and then set some hot laps. on the way before he boxes again later on in the race. Let's watch on then a gap quite big there to Danos. He needs to close up. And Puggy's gone early, as you might expect. And we are racing again under green flags. 1.1 seconds all the way down to Jones. He's dropped off the back of Snellhenk. All these drivers making it through turns 1 and 2 smoothly. And Callum all over the back of Puggy. Maybe he struggled to get some heat into those tyres. Puggy difficult to restart on the hards. And Callum's going to have to use some ERS to get by down this main straight. Will he get it done before the chicane, or is he going to send it into the chicane? He does enable ERS. And he's got the overspeed. He pulls out of the slipstream quite early. That's going to invite Callum to Puggy to defend. And Callum does get the move done before the braking zone. Misses the apex first though. Puggy might have the better run. Nothing giving there. He'll have to wait. We've got Inorganic close in behind Jones for P11. Jones has fallen down at the beginning of this race and he finds himself on the hard tyres. Fresh, however. Albeit, so that's not too bad. Callum's picked up a 3-second time penalty just. And it's a tight pack here in the midfield. Matty 2 seconds from Riker and Danos 2 seconds from Matty. All for what will potentially be net P1. Unless Ivor and Dino have something to say about it. Very wide there by Danos. Takes the curb on the exit. And that's dropped him down. That leaves Matty on his own within half a second. We've got Rodo closing right in behind Danos after that mistake. Taking a lot of curb. Looking to open up the corner nicely to get the run. And he has got the run. He's put himself alongside. Dangerous place to overtake. They've made contact. And that's Danos in the wall. I'm not entirely sure what Rodo thought was going to happen there. He didn't really turn, I don't think. So has Danos picked up damage? It looks as though he's okay. It was a big impact in the wall. But it looks as though he's okay for the time being. Smith all over the back of Rodo though, so he's looking to gain positions, and Riker is going to pose a threat to Dino in behind. We'll catch up with that, as I believe they'll have DRS. A lot of curve there by Rodo, as you would expect. Schmidt picks up the position. He won't be in for DRS though. Jones and Danos has just swapped positions, so Danos has had a nightmare restart here. Finds himself down in P11 after, I believe it was P7 in the boxes, so he must have damage. DRS is enabled. Nothing's come up on the telemetry, unfortunately. But he must have damage. I'm just going to watch and see if he gets his front wing changed. Yes, so there is a front wing change there needed by Danos. Let's see then who's riding close. Jones is getting the move done. He's gone up the inside of the McLaren, very close to the wall. They do make contact as he goes around the outside, and Snellhenk holds onto the position. His hands were up in the cockpit as he was squeezed against the wall. Not much respect left, room at least left by Snellhenk. So Jones will be all over this. We've got the yellow flags are out. Is that Callum? Yes, Callum's made a mistake. He's okay, but he's lost his front wing, so he's gone from first to last as well. Jones will be in DRS, looking to attack on Snellhenk as we approach the halfway point in this race. And he's carried the overspeed through the chicane. He's on the grass to try and get by. And the understeer took him careering into the side of Snellhenk, into the wall. That's massive, massive damage there, surely. The TAS, unfortunately, not bringing up the damage info. Jones really struggling. All those positions he's gained, he's lost again, and he finds himself stuck. He has to cross the track at some point. And he has. Him and Callum will find each other in the pit lane, exchanging wings. And Phil's out. Where did he go out? Has he put it in the wall? I think he might have put it in the wall. Yellow flags are out. Is it going to be yet another safety car? Let's see. It must have been, yeah. Phil must have dropped it on the exit. So Phil DNFs from the race, the 4th victim around Melbourne. Unfortunately, it seems I've lost the telemetry. I've still got the live table, which is good, but I'm not getting any session data. So we go without that for now. We race on. I've just been distracted there by that. We've got Micah and who was that? Riker's round. Riker's round, the guy who had the pace to win the race, has spun. I'm not sure if it was contact. I caught the tail end of it, and he's just filed in behind Inorganic, who has a 3-second time penalty. I saw it was very close on the timings. And that's about the only battle we've got going on at the minute. Dino, half a second behind Ivor. These two now, all of a sudden, battling for the lead and possibly the win, because Puggy still has to pit. Matty and Smith will be rubbing their hands together, hoping that they've got the pace to overtake these guys. It's all well and truly on. Still 4 or 5 drivers could win this race. That gap to Snellhenk is the crucial one. Danos, that's the fastest lap at the back. What tyre has he opted for? He's on fresh mediums. Jones also on fresh mediums, as is Callum. We've got Inorganic moving up in behind Snellhenk. He's using a lot of ERS. He hasn't disabled the ERS through the corner, which is risky. And he keeps the foot to the floor. And he's still got ERS enabled. Going full all guns blazing. I guess you can get away with that with a bit of traction. And it's forced him out wide. That's understeer. Might want to turn the ERS. Might want to turn the ERS off. Hey, there it is. He's kept it together though, and he can recharge a little bit now. And Dino up at the front, 2 tenths behind Ivor. Taking a lot of curb, both these drivers. And Riker's taking Snellhenk. And Snellhenk's taking it back up the inside. He's drifted wide, and Riker's picked up a time penalty because of it. He was left the room. No fault of Snellhenk there. He didn't force him off the track. Riker chose to take that as Inorganic watches on. Puggy at the front's just got to keep going and hoping that a safety car comes out once these other guys, you know, sort of a last minute safety car where he can come in and strap on the softs for maybe 6 or 7 laps. It will be silly to box unless he feels like the grip is getting that bad. We've got an issue in sector 3. Who's off? Ivor's gone. He would have taken the lead had Puggy pitted, and now he has to sit there and wait for the drivers to go past. Has he picked up damage? Yes, he has. He drives into the pits. Nothing giving yellow flag safety car wise, so that's all good. We can continue. Smith closing in on Matty for potentially net P1 in this race. It all depends on what goes on ahead with Dino. But Matty and Smith battling for what could be net P1, and Rodo is still in this as well. And Matty slips up the inside of Dino. And Smith really has to get himself past, otherwise he's going to struggle with Dino on those old hard tyres. Matty's now got to get himself away from Smith and use as much ERS as he can. Smith seems to have had 100% ERS this entire race. Not sure what he's holding on to it for. There's bound to be another safety car before the end. And Inorganic now looking to pose threat for Snellhenk ahead. And he's had to back out of it ever so slightly there as they head round the final few corners. And again, a bit of oversteer from Inorganic. That's not the first time we've seen that tonight. Smith will get DRS open. And Puggy has now pitted. He's opted not to stay out for a safety car. He's going to go for a stint on the mediums. Too much time must have been getting lost. He's going to find himself now in P10. It's still not over for him though. He's got the tyre advantage and he started last. So if he's got the pace, we don't know how much pace he's got. He's held the lead, but he didn't qualify. So Matty, inherits the lead of the race. Smith still unable to get past Dino. And he's now using some ERS to look to gain an advantage. Dino just outside of ERS. Is he going to use some? He should use some to get inside the DRS of Matty ahead, which he has done. As they go through the detection point within. So Dino will have DRS. Not going to be so easy for Matty. But he's got a bucket load of ERS more over the driver ahead. And he knows he's got the tyres. But the crucial thing is he can't let Matty get away. He's got to get this move done as they head into turn 1, surely. Dino looks to have dropped out of ERS now. The shoe in sector 3, it's Callum. Is he out or is he just off? He's off and he's got no traffic coming his way. So that's all good. We've got Inorganic still closing on Salhank under DRS, using all of his ERS. Is he going to send one? No, he was too far back. Wise decision. Other than that, the only drivers in contention for an overtake with DRS is Smith and Inorganic. So gaps appearing in the final 10 laps of the opening round here of RPM Season 6. Entertaining so far, but all eyes on Dino and Smith, as this is crucial for the race win. Matty got that move done after the mistake through Sector 2, the early parts of Sector 2. Surely now, use that ERS and get by. You've got to commit. He's going for it. He's backed out. And let Dino hold on to the position. He's got the grip. Needs to get it done. He's going to look to switch back twice here. And get the run, I believe. Coming out the final corner, which he has. He'll have this move done before the braking zone, and he can set off to reduce that 3-second margin for the race win. Matty takes P2. Rodo doesn't defend. And Ivers out. Is that going to bring out the safety car? Ivers hit the wall in the same place as Goran Potner did earlier, going through that chicane. That's the 5th DNF of the evening. And we'll see what happens then. Just the yellow flags around that area. I'm not sure if it's going to bring out the safety car. Thank goodness it hasn't. So we can ride on for the final 10 laps, hopefully avoiding any more VSCs or SCs. Riker, right up behind Rodo, however he does have that penalty. Callum with a nightmare at the minute. He's going to finish in P13. Danos, Inorganic and Riker with only 3, and to be honest it's a good effort by the rest of the drivers not to pick up any more than that, or any at all. Obviously a lot could happen in 10 laps. Oh, a little bit of a connection issue there. Rodo looked to have gone deep, then appears elsewhere. Yellow flag. It's a Mercedes. Smith is in the wall and he's turned around. Snellhank's coming. He's avoided everybody, thankfully. So that's race over for Smith. The win is not on the cards. He had to push to gain that back. And Leakey's going to dive up the inside of Inorganic. He's gone over the grass, and that might invite Smith onto the back of this. Puggy's taken Spivey in the meantime. And Smith might get the position on Leakey. He's conceded it wisely. And now the AlphaTauri of Puggy all over the back of this. It's all opened up. There weren't many close battles, and all of a sudden one mistake brings lots of drivers together. Puggy battling back with Leakey. And he takes the position again. And now we can try on Smith with those fresh tyres. Great strategy and great driving so far by Puggy. Callum's dropped it again and he's out. Disaster for him, and that is a full course safety car, which will see the majority of drivers boxing for soft. Now, I'm not going to lie, if I was Puggy, I would stay out. We'll see what he does, but I would stay out and just, you got to think, would you gain more going from 8th to 5th, or would you gain more staying from 1st and finishing 4th or 3rd, or whatever he might end up doing? Let's see what he does. Everyone else is going to box, that much is clear, but it's all eyes on Puggy, who stays out. Great decision. I absolutely love to see that. He's had the pace. He didn't qualify, as we said, but he's had the pace. Riker and Matty have also stayed out, strangely enough. Neither blinked, so the rest didn't. The other didn't. Matty didn't blink, Riker didn't blink, and they both stay out. So Puggy does not inherit the lead of the race, but he'll have a significant tyre advantage over those two drivers. Does he have the pace advantage? That could hamper him a little bit, as guys in behind gain. Leaky stayed out also. Danos either stayed out or put on old tyres again. Dino, Rodo and Snellhenk have swapped onto the mediums. Inorganic's gone soft, as has Jones, which, to be honest, needs to be done. I think that's Jones's only option, is to go full aggression in the final few laps. So we have 12 drivers remaining. Hopefully we still have 12 drivers when we finish, when we conclude all 29 laps, and Matty's picked up the safety car, and the rest of the drivers will slowly follow on. So Smith has come in and strapped on the mediums. So, grateful to see that we've held a steady 20 throughout the whole race. It's just dropped below that now, which isn't the worst thing. Remember to drop a like if we haven't already. And let's try and get it back up to 20 as this first round concludes. We've got 11 thumbs up, which is great to see. And the safety car should be in this lap. I may have missed the message. I think it has, because Matty is peeling off the back. So we're going to get it underway again. 6 laps of racing to go. A lot of mixed tyres out there. All eyes on Puggy then to see how he gets on. Can he complete the last to first and set off a great start to the season? Matty and Riker on level tyres, but wearing hard. They'll make it to the end of the race, no problem. But they might not necessarily have the pace on the guys around them. Inorganic, Jones and Smith on the softs. And interestingly, Danos, what will be 11 lap old hards when we go racing. So all eyes on Riker and Matty, and actually Booty, who's going to want to be all over this at the restart. Matty might be wise to just hold on a little bit, actually, which he is. He doesn't want Puggy to get... And he's gone. He looked as though he could have gone a little bit longer. He's gone, and he's caught Riker napping ever so slightly. That's put him under immediate pressure from Puggy. That's almost worked out perfectly for Riker. Leakey's picked up a penalty, and look at this, almost immediately. That's great. He's going to defend the inside slightly there, Riker. And Puggy's going to launch one at the inside. Keeps it together, both drivers giving enough space. A little bit of oversteer there by Puggy as he gets the switchback and the drive out and takes P2. Riker drops down on those hard tyres and Puggy's in the wall. No. Oh, and he's collected someone else, has he? No? No. Oh, that was such a good restart. And the oversteer coming through turn 5 or 6, I think that was. And Puggy's out of the race. I don't think there's going to be a need for a safety car, thankfully. But what turned out to nearly be a great strategy and a great drive has ended in disaster. It's now the 7th driver out tonight. We've got Rodo, 2 tenths off Leakey. He needs to get as many points as he can to stay in this early battle with Riker and Matty, who look nearly oversteered there. Fresh on Leakey. He's put one up the inside and Leakey didn't give him the space. It's all heating up. I'm not sure if it's just a connection, but it looks like a lot of drivers are having oversteer. Maybe it's just my connection. An organic closing on Snellhenk. Rodo the same. Everyone else in and around. He's got the drive. Those hards really struggling now. 16 laps. Rodo takes it. Jones is taking an organic and immediately come out of nowhere and all of a sudden putting pressure on Snellhenk in the McLaren. So Jones up from the back. Or maybe it was second last at the time. I can't remember. And now he finds himself battling for P7. Great return by Jones. As they head through the second sector, down the back straight. Anyone going to go for a move into the chicane? It doesn't look likely. If it's going to be anyone, it's going to be an organic. He's using ARS. It's almost like he wants to put himself alongside through here. Forces Jones to the inside. Takes the outside. Who's going to get the better run? Great on the power there on organic. Not wasting any time. Straight over the curb, straight back on the power and on the ERS, putting maximum pressure on Jones. Them two on soft tyres, the one driver ahead, 3-lap-old mediums, and then Leakey, 16-lap-old hards, really struggling at the back and a 1.3 second gap behind as DRS gets enabled, so we'll have it possibly down the next straight, or maybe it's the back straight, since it's one detection point. Snellhenk looks to the inside of Leakey. They make contact. Leakey's round. Oh, disaster. I mean, what the hell is that? Leakey's lost his front wing and he's just reversed straight back onto the track. There. Oh, what is this standard of driving? Leakey just reversed back onto the track, collides with Snellhenk and rightfully picks up a 5-second penalty. That will see him finishing last. Jones, out of all of that, the safety cars come out and there's no one stuck. Everybody's fine. But the safety cars come out. It's going to come out for 1 or 2 laps, maximum. And all of a sudden, Jones realistically finds himself in the best position. Riker and Matty are going to be under severe pressure from Dino, just like the same with Puggy earlier. So can Dino make a statement in the final, well, the final 2, I would imagine. 2 laps it will be, maybe 3. No, it'll be 2 laps. So he now has himself in a great position. Those hards will be really struggling now. I don't have tyre data. Unless it's come back online. This will be crucial to have at this point, to be honest. But it looks like it's gone off. Yeah, I think it's gone. Unfortunately. Yeah, and Jones, like I said earlier, I mean his hards, his softs won't go for that much longer. And what's happened here? Danos has been taken by Dino. Did he? Oh no, he took the position and gave it back. And Snellhenk, Leakey, and Inorganic exchanging positions in the pit lane. Inorganic onto the softs. Leaky will also go onto the softs. So that leaves Spivey exposed at the back. Spivey may have better tyre wear than Jones and Smith in front. And it's going to be interesting what happens here. Will the three cars catch up to the back of the pack in time? Let's take a look at the penalties. Riker 3 seconds, Danos 3 seconds, and I don't know how close Matty is to picking one up, so all eyes on Dino, all eyes on Rodo as well, who could still finish ahead of those drivers ahead of them. Safety car will be in this lap, and Leaky, Inorganic and Snellhank still a long way back. I think, oh, they'll catch up and contact Danos, and that's rippled. And Rodo's lost his front wing, and he picks up a 5-second penalty now. I feel like that may be taken away. I would take that away, because it was Danos who made the contact. And Rodo picks up a 5-second penalty for a severe collision, and he's lost his end plate. That's a flaw in the game. We experienced that. We've experienced that before. It takes away your throttle control on the midway through that chicane, so everyone slows down. And since it's a blind corner, people aren't quite ready for it. So that's ruined Rodo's race to some extent. He'll keep going, I would imagine, and he'll probably hope to get that penalty removed. Let's see what Matty does. He's gone a little bit earlier this time. Dino's been caught napping. And Smith comes into the box. It's right on Riker all over the back. Let's keep an eye on these tyres. That will be critical. Dino gets the better exit. Is he going to look to make a move? He should just try and outbrake him. He has. He's going to go around the outside and look for the switchback. As he head through turns 4, 5. Toward the end of sector 1. Nothing else really given. Jones up to P6. And the final 2 laps around Australia. Anything could happen with the mixed strategy, and that's Rodo's gone wide with the damage. Really struggling, and he finds himself down in P9 now. Absolute disaster. Nothing he can do about that, even with the 5-second penalty being removed. Nothing he can do about making that kind of mistake. That's unfortunate. And Jones promoted into P5, the best start to that safety car and the best finish to the race that he could have hoped for. It's getting very close between Inorganic, Spivey and Snellhank. Snellhank moves up, Spivey loses the position. And Inorganic picks up one. That's now Snellhank on those fresh softs with 1 lap to go. He'll be all over Jones on the final lap of the race. And Leaky was close to Rodo, but he's had to back out, and Rodo will be struggling with damage. Inorganic looking to make a move. Snellhank defends the inside. What's Inorganic going to do? He forces the late braking. Goes around the outside, nearly makes contact. Picks up a track warning limit for sure. And it looks as though Matty's going to hold on to this unless anyone picks up a penalty in these final stages. There they are. That'll certainly shape up the order. A 3-second for Matty now would give Dino the win. As it stands, he'll finish in P2. Snellhull can be promoted into P4 as well. Leaky has taken Rodo, as you would have expected. So Rodo will finish a disappointing 10th after looking like a strong finish. But this is the kind of pace that we hoped we would see. The championship and the first division drivers coming together, and that's Inorganic out at the last hurdle. The 3rd driver to make a mistake through that chicane, and he is out. With just 1 sector to go, and he would have brought home some great points for Alfa Romeo. But he can't. And now Matty, who won the last race in Imola, he won the title last year, and he gets started with a great win in Australia for round 1. Dino gets promoted into P2. Snellhank gets on the podium, a great start for McLaren. Riker demoted from P2 to P4. Danos in P5, Jones a great drive from 6, Spivey P7, Leaky P8, Rodo in 9th after a disastrous safety car restart, unfortunately for him, picking up damage that wasn't his fault, and Smith rounding off the finishers. All finishers gaining points today, only 10 of them. And gutting for inorganic there. All he had to do was make it through that one last time. And he would have brought on some good points, but it ends in disaster for those guys. Now let's just see. I'll give guys a few minutes if they want to... So, as I said, just before he picks up where he left off, winning the title and winning the first race back, his form hasn't dropped at all. We'll do a rundown of the final order. There it is then. Dino, Matty and Snellhang, not in that order. So Matty converts the pole position. And Dino and Snellhang with a great finish up from down from P11 to P13. And I will switch over while we sort out some interviews. We've got Matty has joined us, which is good to see. And I'll be with him shortly. Good evening, Matty.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Good to speak to you again.
And you?
Good stuff. So, you've, I don't know if you've been listening, but I've just been saying, you've ended last season with the championship and you've started this season as best as you could. You've converted your first pole position into a race win, so maximum points. How does that feel?
Oh, no, very, very good result. Yeah, with the change of the lineups, I didn't really have too many expectations come in, just seeing what pace was like for people coming down and see where it could end up. And it's, yeah, like you say, gone as well as could be possible.
Yeah, well, like I mentioned at the end in the last interview, I'm looking at maybe 5 or 6 drivers, 3 of which were here last season and 3 of them have come down from championship to be sort of competing. And I mean, safety cars have changed it, obviously bulking the pack back up, but it looks like you're definitely in the fight with those guys ahead. Or what would have been ahead.
Hopefully so, yeah. No, I do like Australia, but yeah, felt good. So hopefully it can keep it up as we keep going on.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. You like this track? Is it one that you find yourself being consistent at? Clearly, if you're getting the race win, but I know a lot of people don't like the new changes.
I know I like the changes. So it's got rid of the bits I hated, and because it was the first game on the track when I was younger. It's the first one. It's the track you learn first.
Yeah, that's actually, I've been there. This was the first track I learned without online as well. So it's definitely the one you come across first. Absolutely. So what are your expectations now? I know you don't want to set them, you might have said, but do you want to keep this going? Do you think other guys have got it in the tank? And what do you think about the next few rounds track-wise? Are you looking forward to that, Spa? And
I know there's some quick drivers in here. So, no, if I can just keep battling for podiums and keep getting the points in with, if anyone else makes mistakes here and there, hopefully try and keep it up, yeah.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Well, it looks like we've been joined by Snellhank as well, which is nice to have a couple of guys. I'm not sure if he's got his mics with him. Snellhank, do you hear?
Yes, I'm here.
He's here. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So same for you, mate. Great drive. And, I mean, as I've just said to Matty, he converted his pole position, but you came all the way from P13 onto the podium. So talk us through that. Did the strategy pay off?
Yeah, well, I had some fuck-ups with the qualification. So I only did one good qualification lap only. So therefore I was starting a little bit from the back. But during the race on the mediums, I had kind of good pace. On the hards, I was under pressure by inorganic. But then, luckily, we got another safety car, so I could switch back to the mediums, and then I had more pace.
Exactly. Yeah, the 2 guys in front of you were on those wearing hard tyres, and you ended up in prime position to take it. A few mistakes at the end, a bit of damage and stuff, but you picked up those opportunities, and it's a great result for McLaren as well, so congratulations for that one.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Expectations then? Is this what you think you've got? Have you got pace for the podium?
Well, this is definitely not my favorite track, but I hope to get on the podium a couple of times, and then I will be happy.
That would be good to see. It would be great if we had another guy battling for race wins, particularly. We've just been saying that, how I think we may have maybe 6 or 7 guys who could be fighting for wins this season. So if we can add you to that list, maybe. You never know.
Yeah,
What about Spa coming up? Is that a track of yours?
Spa, it's my favorite, so
Good,
I hope I
good.
can do good there.
Well, that's interesting,
So,
actually, yeah. And obviously after that, we've got Austria, which we haven't raced. Well, I don't think I've ever raced it with RPM, so that'll be interesting to see how people get on around there. Very different type of circuit to Australia.
yeah. Spa is definitely one of my favorites. Austria, sometimes I get I get it going there, but sometimes it's not my favorite track. So we'll see.
Absolutely. Okay, good stuff. Well, thanks both of you for joining me. That's nice. I'll start doing this regularly now that we've got the ease of Discord, because it was a bit of a ball ache on PlayStation. But good, yeah. Unless there's anything else either of you would like to say, we can call it there.
No, thanks for the comms. I will hopefully speak to you next week.
Yeah. Keep that up. Yeah, let's. And you too, Snell.
Cheers, mate.
Let's keep getting points in for McLaren. Yeah, good stuff. Right, good to speak to you guys.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all next week. So thanks everyone for watching tonight. We had quite a few guys in the stream for one. Well, not for once, but you know, a change there. Nearly hitting 30 guys. So good to everyone that stopped by, and thanks for all the chat in the channel there. And next we've got Spa, as I alluded to earlier. Let me just flick this back up so we can check off. So we can check off Australia. That's done. And then we have Spa, which is a track most of the drivers will be very familiar with. And then the first sprint of the season around the Red Bull Ring. The first time I've been there, as I said. And then another one, Mexico. That wasn't on the track on the calendar last year either. So plenty of exciting races upcoming in the next few weeks. So tomorrow you'll join Luke for the championship division, and we'll see how that pace fares with those drivers not having the line. The first RPM race without the racing line, which will be very interesting. Let's see if we have as many casualties as we did tonight. There might be very few of those guys finishing the race, and then you can join Jones, who may or may not be joined on comms on Thursday night for the first round of Premier Division. So thanks everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week.